ITV News in the Tyne region with Amy Lee and Ian Payne.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
On tonight's programme, a recipe for success. The Conservative leader has been in Sunderland and Redcar saying her party would put jobs ahead of green targets.
Call for accountability. The women who want the investigation into failures in breast cancer care at Durham and Darlington to leave no stone unturned.
Getaway guides will have some top tips to swerve the petrol pump Payne for those heading away for the bank holiday.
And Menders and Lenders, the regeneration shop helping people to borrow their way through these troubled times.
First tonight, and Kemi Badenoch has told us that she would put jobs ahead of green energy targets.
The Tory leader was on Teesside, touring one of Redcar's chemical giants to trail her party's plans to axe carbon taxes. We've previously heard from the head of the Huntsman Group, who have threatened to pull their UK operations if things don't get easier for their industry.
Our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick has been speaking to her today.
Right, is this fine where I'm sitting now?
Kemi Badenoch believes it'd be better for business if she was at the country's controls. She visited Huntsman Chemicals at Wilton today, weeks after they warned they might close this plant.
The chief executive, Peter Huntsman, told us recently the UK has been very uncompetitive, particularly with energy prices, for at least 4 or 5 years. So this is a problem that arose under the Conservative government, isn't it?
Well, we have a new leadership, my leadership, and a new party. People will remember that even in government I was very vocal against net zero targets. Now I'm in charge of the Conservative
You were
Party.
the business secretary for part of this time, weren't you?
Sorry, can I finish the answer?
You were the business secretary, though, weren't you?
So, as I was saying, people knew that I was very much against net zero targets. These things are set by the leadership. I am in charge of the party now. Even as business secretary, I was pushing for changes. The changes we saw to the zero electric vehicles mandate, that was me. So I've been very consistent.
Today you're pledging to scrap carbon tax in the industry. Does bringing down carbon emissions not matter to you?
Bringing down carbon emissions is very important, but we're not bringing down carbon emissions because we're actually just creating carbon emissions in another country. That doesn't make sense. Norway is drilling oil and gas in the North Sea. We're importing oil and gas from Norway. That doesn't make any sense. We have a plan for a stronger economy and a stronger country.
With council elections coming in 5 weeks' time, the Conservative leader stopped off to campaign in Sunderland.
Ahead of the local elections, the Labour Party chair is launching an advert attacking Reform UK here in the North East today. Does that show that Conservatives are just irrelevant in our region?
I'm not really interested in what Labour is saying about reform. What I'm saying is what my plans are for this part of... No, I need to talk about me. I need to talk about my policies. I'm not here to talk about Labour or reform. I'm here to show people that there is a new Conservative Party under new leadership. And we are showing the way, how to get Britain working again, how to deliver a stronger economy.
Kemi Badenoch also helped to prepare a lasagna at a Wearside Italian restaurant this afternoon. Voters will decide if they want a taste of her Tory recipe for running councils next month.
Well, the Conservatives point out this new Keel crossing footbridge here in Sunderland was allocated funding by the last Tory government with a local Labour council. I mentioned previously the new adverts that Labour have unveiled today in Newcastle. It claims that Reform UK voted against investment in the NHS, protections for children online and free breakfast clubs.
It's about showing people the choice they face at this election. They can either vote for a Labour council that's going to be on their side with the cost of living, putting more money back into their pockets and putting their families first, or they can face a Reform who would scrap so much of the investment in energy and jobs in this region, who are not on your side, who have voted against everything that makes a difference for working people, whether that's cost of living measures, whether that's lifting children out of poverty, whether that's workers' rights. Reform have blocked it all. They are not on the side of working people, and it's right that we're out here to show that today.
Now, responding earlier, Reform UK said Labour's lies are getting desperate. Reform themselves pledged today to keep in place the triple lock on state pensions, which mean they will rise by at least 2.5% each year. Meanwhile, the Liberal Democrats have called for an emergency 10p cut to fuel duty, and the Green Party say any government support with energy bills later this year must be applied universally. The conflict in the Middle East has given this local election campaign a real international focus.
Tom Sheldrick, thank you very much indeed. Tom there at the Kiel Crossing in Sunderland.
Next, breast cancer patients are calling for no stone to be left unturned as investigations continue into failings in treatments and care across County Durham and Darlington.
A review of past cases was launched after a catalogue of issues were uncovered, including delayed diagnoses, unnecessary surgery and outdated clinical practices.
So far, it's identified that more than 50 patients came to moderate or severe harm. Our health correspondent Helen Ford reports.
What have we got down here? Shall we go see?
For Yvonne Staley, caring for her greyhounds is central to each day.
Let's go.
But her treatment for breast cancer and its aftermath has also dominated her life. At the end of last year, Yvonne received an apology from County Durham and Darlington NHS Foundation Trust over concerns with her diagnosis and care, including the likelihood that one surgery could have been prevented.
I was furious. That was the thing, more than anything. I felt anger inside that people that I'd trusted, because they know their job, had let me down at my most vulnerable time.
Independent reports published last year identified issues with breast surgery services within County Durham and Darlington Trust dating back to 2012. As part of its response, the organisation embarked on what it calls a look-back review of past cases to identify patients who may have been harmed. Currently, it's largely examining the period from 2023 to February 25. So far, almost 1,500 cases have been identified for review. 357 have been completed, with 54 cases identified where patients came to serious or moderate harm. Yvonne says it's vital the review timeframe is expanded significantly for the benefit of many more women.
When did it start and how did it grow into this monster? And it was a monster. Because people have been damaged in all different ways. My way is totally different from other people's.
The Trust told me its look-back review will be expanded, though exactly how far into the past it will go has still to be decided.
We're currently working to agree the scope of the look-back. We recognise it will have significant implications for patients over a protracted number of years. So we are engaging with patients, we are engaging with independent clinicians, we are taking a legal perspective to come up with a date that is the right one for people.
It was the scariest time of my life. I was petrified and I thought I was going to die. It was just as simple as that.
This patient is waiting to learn if her case will be reviewed. She's asked us to protect her identity, so we're calling her Ella. She believes after an operation in 2019 to remove precancerous growths, her continuing concerns weren't taken seriously. 3 years later, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. In addition, Ella says a failure to offer reconstructive surgery has had a devastating impact.
It's when I shower, when I bath, it's just ugly, if you like, and I don't feel full anymore. I'm not that person anymore. Cancer's changed me completely.
Now Ella says she wants accountability for all those affected.
When something goes wrong in cancer care, the consequences are life-changing, but not just for me. It's for other women, and yeah, there just needs to be, I think, no stone unturned, really. And it's the trust we need that accountability from.
Confidence in breast services has been lost. What's changing?
The current service is very different. We've recruited external experts, we have a multi-professional approach, we have improved access to diagnostics, and actually our current outcomes are in line with or better than the national average.
Those changes are recognised by Yvonne Staley. She's since been diagnosed with cancer in her other breast and describes her care now as excellent. Ella, meanwhile, is expecting to receive reconstructive surgery this summer. After that, she hopes plans previously put on hold to get married can finally happen.
Helen joins us now as the review process continues, Helen, and bring us up to date with some of the other developments in this case.
Well, we've been hearing about the toll that this situation has taken on patients. The Trust says it's offering psychological support to those that need it. It's also in the early stages of establishing a patient support group. Now, elsewhere, questions have been asked about the man who was clinical lead for breast services at the Trust, Mr. Amir Bharti. The organisation says he is currently restricted from clinical duties. And in a statement, it explains what this means. He is not seeing patients or providing any clinical care or treatment. And it goes on to say, we recognise the concerns being raised and understand the importance of transparency. We are taking the concerns seriously and following the appropriate processes. Now, I have also approached Mr. Bharti himself. He gave me this statement: I am grateful for the opportunity to respond, but I am cooperating fully with the Trust investigations, and it would be inappropriate for me to comment further whilst proceedings are ongoing.
Okay, Helen, thank you very much indeed for the latest. Next, you might well be joining the many people who are packing up the car and heading away for the long Easter bank holiday.
Yes, with the price of petrol at the pump soaring, though, that's not going to be as cheap or perhaps as straightforward as people might have hoped. A bit earlier on, I spoke to the president of the AA for some tips.
Across the northeast, we've seen a massive variety in fuel prices, particularly diesel. In Newcastle, there are differences of 12 or 13p a litre in terms of diesel. And if you're filling up a diesel car, that costs about £100 anyway, so it is worth shopping around. Also, Sunderland, there are big varieties in petrol prices there. So keep an eye on the prices. There are lots of apps out there you can use to actually get the best deal in your area.
Shopping around is good advice if you can. In rural areas, that does become more of a challenge. But as you said, there are apps that can help people, so maybe that's something to consider. Another thing, Edmund, is how people actually drive. We can save money by the way we drive. So if you are heading away, what's the advice on doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting this weekend. There's still about 38% of people who haven't quite decided if they will drive. And I think for some of them, the cost of fuel will put them off. But those that are making journeys, by just adapting your driving style and your speed a little bit, you can save 10% of your fuel. And that's quite significant. It costs on average for a diesel car £100 to fill up. So you can save £10 by driving more efficiently. And also driving more efficiently means driving more safely. So that would be good advice to follow for everyone.
No, absolutely. Hopefully that will be a win-win if people are able to get away and enjoy the Easter bank holiday weekend safely and as cheaply as possible. Edmund King from the AA, thank you very much for your time. Have a good bank holiday. Yeah, some good advice there. And if you're heading out and about today or tomorrow, enjoy your bank holiday weekend and drive safe. You're watching ITV News Time Tea, still to come on tonight's programme.
It's a crucial weekend for Borough's Premier League promotion push with an Easter Bonanza doubleheader.
Also, make, do and lend. The Gateshead repair shop, fixing tools to keep the costs down of doing a bit of DIY.
And there's a lot going on with the weather over the Easter bank holiday weekend. Some wet and windy conditions overnight, but we're watching Saturday night. Our next named storm is on the way. I'll have more on that later in the programme.
Well, next tonight, to the sheep that we are told are disappearing from our hills, and as a consequence, they're disappearing from our dinner plates as well.
Lamb has long been a staple, hasn't it? A British staple, particularly this time of year at Easter. But new figures show that flocks are shrinking as experts and shepherds say it's becoming an unsustainable way to make a living. Catherine Walker has this report.
Sheep have shaped the British landscape for centuries. But where they once packed farmers' markets, modern numbers are slowly dwindling. rising costs, extreme weather and changes to subsidies mean some shepherds like Neil from Malham in North Yorkshire have scaled back their flocks.
We at one time lambed 800 sheep, which was what we peaked at. We now lamb around about 45 sheep, which is obviously a massive reduction.
Across the UK, sheep numbers have gradually declined to meet our changing tastes. The amount of lamb and mutton we eat each week has dropped by 82% since the 1980s. The number of sheep in our fields has also fallen year on year, to a national low of 30.5 million. But Becky, who works as a policy advisor, says there's still new life left in the industry. Smaller flocks have pushed up prices, and this Easter the cost of a joint is up 8%.
We export about a third of what we produce in terms of sheep meat, and most of that would be going to the EU. So we see a really strong market there for our sheep meat, and a really high value market, so that's delivering value back to our farmers as well.
But sheep don't just provide wool and lamb, they also graze the land. In Rourke in Sunderland, conservationists say smaller flocks would change the countryside.
We'll see landscapes return to what they would have been previously, and the barren kind of countryside that we associate with and understand now would look a lot more diverse. The way we farm animals is incredibly land intensive. So we've got a situation where 83% of farmland contributes to less than 20% of the calories that we consume.
Farmers and conservationists want to see clear plans from the government on the future of the industry. For now, our classic countryside remains, but the flocks that shaped it may not. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Well, in a statement the government have pointed out, they say we have allocated a record £11.8 billion to sustainable farming and food production over this Parliament, and our recent changes to the sustainable farming incentive are designed to ensure as many farmers as possible, including moorland and sheep farmers, can benefit from this investment.
And we are staying on a bit of a food theme because scientists believe that having good gut health could help us all improve how we're feeling, both physically and mentally. But is it really possible to eat yourself happy? This evening's Tonight programme has been looking at what we should consider including in our diet to try and improve our mood. As an experiment, they gave mother and son duo, Simon and Chrissy, a 2-week challenge of eating more fibre and more probiotics to see if it helped them to feel happier.
I've been telling it to my friends, and they've been seeing the changes in me over the past couple of weeks as well, so I think that's kind of living proof of that it's a positive overall.
When I look back on the last 2 weeks, it's made me feel 100%, I would say, happier because I've been able to have more energy, my gut feels better, I'm not as lethargic, so yeah, bring on the spring.
Food for thought, especially with all those Easter eggs just around the corner. You can see more on that stories later this evening in the Tonight programme. Diet, Can You Eat Yourself Happy? It's on at 7 p.m. on ITV1. It will also be available on ITVX.
The ITV Evening News continues after us at 6:30.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, utter devastation caused to hundreds of families. A funeral director pleads guilty of preventing a lawful and decent burial of 30 bodies. Surging fuel costs partly to blame as an airline suddenly scraps flights. We'll have the latest. And
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff.
making history, the NASA astronauts orbiting Earth before heading to the moon. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Powering local sport in the community, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, Easter is going to be crucial for Middlesbrough in the Championship promotion race. Borough are second in the table. There's just 7 games to go.
2 of those remaining games come over the bank holiday weekend. The first of which is a genuine promotion 6-pointer. Simon is already at the Riverside. Simon.
Yeah, the international break is over. We're into the home straight and Middlesbrough can see the finish line. They are where they need to be, but they're going to have to fight to hold on to their automatic promotion place. And tomorrow they face Millwall here, and Millwall could overtake Borough with a win. It's an absolutely massive game. Not everything is perfect for Middlesbrough at the moment. Not everyone is going to be fit to play. But it's time to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. This game doesn't need much hype. The league table tells you all you need to know. Middlesbrough are second, Millwall are fourth. A win for Borough in front of a sellout crowd at the Riverside keeps Borough second, no matter what. A win for Millwall lifts them above Borough. Third place Ipswich don't play tomorrow. So it doesn't need much hype, but Borough released an official hype video today anyway, because why not?
We shall be.
Hayden Hackney, Borough's hometown hero and main man, will probably miss this game through injury, but Teesside needs to try not to worry about that and just enjoy the moment.
We have to back Borough. We really, really have to back Borough. Any criticisms you have of the team, of players, just leave it behind. Leave it at the door when you go to the Riverside on Friday and just get behind the team.
I think in the quick business sometimes you forget to be also proud of what you have done to take you here, and that you need to also bring into it. So you use the energy from that. You use the positive things by being here and know that we are good enough to be here and we deserve to be here. And there are, I think, no one that can have watched Middlesbrough play the last 20 games and say that we are not deserved to be in this type of position.
A former Borough main man will probably line up for Millwall against them tomorrow. Josh Coburn once led the Middlesbrough forward line. Now he's leading Millwall's unexpected promotion charge.
I feel like it's written in the script, Simon, that he will score against us. There's been many Borough fans that have said Borough should have never sold Josh Coburn, so we will see if he adds a little bit more weight to that narrative on Friday. I hope not. Borough have been really good under Kim Hellberg. We actually have the best defence in the league, and it's maybe gone a little bit under the radar just how good we have been.
The game is a big one, and the next 6 are also going to be big ones. But of course, when you play against the rival at the top, it will be crucial to get the points in that way. So I'm just looking forward to it.
After Millwall, Borough have a quick turnaround for Swansea City away on Monday. Easter weekend won't make or break Teesside's promotion dreams, but it will set the tone for the final countdown.
So Simon, we heard from Kim Hellberg there. You were at his press conference today. What was the message coming out of it?
It's that message of positivity. It really is. The last couple of results have been a bit scratchy for Middlesbrough, but the last result doesn't matter. It's this result that matters. It doesn't matter who isn't playing tomorrow. It matters who is playing. So the message is, after they've given themselves this huge opportunity, be brave, try and enjoy it, don't be afraid of it, and reach out and grab it. Well, the Easter weekend might be make or break for Harrogate Town. They are bottom of League 2, 4 points from safety with 6 games to play. They have 2 games over Easter, starting away at Grimsby tomorrow. Harrogate need points and fast. So do all 3 of our teams in the National League, who also double up over the holiday weekend. Tomorrow, York City are away to Boston, Gateshead go to Carlisle, and Hartlepool travel to Scunthorpe. No Premier League this weekend, and both Newcastle United and Sunderland are out of the FA Cup, so it's chocolate eggs and feet up for both of them. And in the week that the Magpies released their annual accounts, they've had a major financial boost. Their training ground will be known as the Knox from next season after they signed a sponsorship deal with Knox Hydration worth £6 million a year. In Women's Super League 2, there was absolute agony for Sunderland last night. They were within seconds of earning what would have been an excellent point away at Birmingham. But former Durham player Lily Crosthwaite scored a glorious winner in the 93rd minute to send Birmingham top of the table. Durham could do with a bit of that sort of thing in their relegation battle. They're at home to Bristol on Sunday. Promotion hopefuls Newcastle host Nottingham Forest. Well, tomorrow will be a very good Friday for cricket fans. The new county championship season begins. Durham are gunning for promotion from Division 2. They start at home to Kent. Yorkshire are in Division 1. They begin away to Glamorgan. And in rugby union, the Newcastle Red Bulls face French side La Rochelle in the knockout stages of the European Challenge Cup on Saturday night. That's all from the Riverside. Borough versus Millwall is live on ITV1 tomorrow lunchtime. It's a huge game.
You've set the scene well for us, Simon. Thank you very much indeed. Have a great weekend.
So something to look forward to there. Life might be pretty pricey right now, but a team of volunteers in Gateshead are encouraging us all to mend and lend our way through these expensive times.
They're called the Regeneration Group. They're based at Chopwell, and they've extended their successful repair shop to include a tool library where DIY and garden appliances can be hired for a small fee. Perfect for a bank holiday that doesn't break the bank. Helen Carnell reports.
April just got a lot less awful and a lot more affordable, thanks to a team whose talents in tinkering are worth their weight in solder. Bob's popped in for rods for a sunny afternoon unblocking drains. That'll be £2 to borrow, not 20 quid to buy. Ka-ching!
It's a little bit about dignity and just sort of being able to offer something for a really good price and just let them get on with it. Things are getting more and more expensive. We try and keep it as fair as possible so people then come back and use us again, and I've got some brilliant volunteers who make that happen.
Yeah, I kind of would do this stuff a lot anyway, but you know, when you're just doing stuff by yourself, you know, coming down here and hanging out with the guys and, you know, people coming in and fixing stuff for other people, obviously we're all of a similar sort of mentality to be doing this sort of thing, so yeah, it's a good laugh.
A good cause too. Green with many gains.
The things that I brought in to repair, I probably would have just stuck in the tip, to be honest. They were in the tip pile, and then I thought, no, like it's such a shame just to throw these just because they're a little bit broken. So I took them in, and I think they were quite difficult actually. I think they had to really put their heads together and think about how to fix them, but they are fixed, and now they're being used in my toddler gymnastics class. So they've had a second life, and the little kids are loving them.
I think it's an absolutely marvellous idea. Plus the fact it's given these chaps things to do, isn't it? And it keeps their brain going. They're all of a certain age, I think.
I like the camaraderie in this place. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, I love fixing things. I've loved fixing things since I was little, so yeah, that's right, it's just my thing.
And their thing is such a success they've outgrown their premises and are moving to an old ice cream parlour across the road. How fitting for a charity that really deserves its place in the sun. Helen Carnell, ITV News.
Genius.
What's not to like about that?
I love that.
On a sunny day as well.
On a sunny day. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There is more fine weather in the bank holiday weekend, and we saw plenty of fine weather today, of course. Hardly a cloud in the sky for most of us. So yes, there is some good weather. I'm just going to emphasise that because things are going rather downhill. Tonight there's some wet and windy weather on the way, more on that in the forecast, but really it's Saturday afternoon into Sunday, so Easter Sunday we're watching Name Storm Dave. I don't name the storms, I just want to point that out, but we are looking at gusts around 60 miles an hour.
Dave's
so
a bit of a loose cannon, isn't he?
Dave is a loose cannon. Blooming Dave. So if you're out camping or you've got the garden furniture out, just look out for that one. But again, there is some fine weather. Let's take a look.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV Tyne Tees weather.
Although many of us have held on to the clearer skies and sunny spells, the cloud has been thickening from the west. With that cloud, spells of rain arriving overnight, some windy conditions as well take us into tomorrow morning. Gradually that clears through and actually into Good Friday itself. Sunny spells, but also a scattering of sometimes blustery showers. Then, of course, we're watching into Saturday, into the first part of Easter Sunday, as our next name storm arrives, Storm Dave, working in from the west. This is tonight's area of low pressure. The squeeze on the isobar showing those blustery winds through tomorrow, dragging in those showers. Overnight into Saturday, calming down, chilly start for some, and then it's later Saturday, the warnings come into place, those gusts of around 60 miles an hour as Dave rattles towards the east. For now, though, the clouds, yes, it's thickening. We're starting to see that rain arriving, setting in as we pass midnight. We'll see some heavier bursts at times, but it is turning patchier, filtered out by the higher ground. Breezy, sometimes blustery conditions, but thanks to that combination, not as cold as last night, where our temperatures did dip below freezing for many, holding up around 4 or 5 degrees. So first thing, Good Friday morning, not too pleasant, lots of clouds around, some spells of rain. By around 9-10 o'clock, a lot of that has cleared through, and we do have the stream of showers working in. Some of these will be on the sharper side, but it's blustery, they push through quickly, and actually with those sunny spells, we'll look at highs of around 13 degrees. So in the sunshine, out of the winds, actually some pleasant weather to be had. Later, Good Friday and into Saturday, we get the clearer skies, the lighter breezes, bit of frost around into Saturday morning, and then it's later in the day we start to watch the west, the rain pushing through, the cloud thickening, those winds starting to pick up. The better news through Sunday, certainly into Monday, things turn calmer and also a bit milder.
2 week sponsors, ITV Tyne weather.
Thank you, Ross. Watching out for Storm Dave. In just a moment, the national and international news.
I'll be here with the update just before 11 o'clock. Have a great evening and a lovely bank holiday weekend. Bye-bye.
See you later.